If you walk into a pet store today and grab a colorful rubber toy off the shelf for your dog, you are handing your best friend a chemical delivery device. That bright, squeaky chew toy sitting in the discount bin is not regulated by a single federal agency, not the FDA, not the Consumer Product Safety Commission. Nobody. There is no law in the United States requiring manufacturers to test dog toys for toxic chemicals before they put them on the shelf. Zero. Your toddler's plastic rattle has to pass strict federal safety testing for lead, cadmium, and phthalates before it can legally be sold in America. The chew toy your dog puts in his mouth for 6 hours a day does not have to pass a single test. And the pet industry is counting on you never finding out. But a quiet shift is happening among informed dog owners, veterinary toxicologists, and the people who actually read ingredient labels. They are completely opting out of the mass market pet toy aisle. They're using what we call the Toxin List, a short checklist of red flags that instantly tells you whether a dog toy is safe or a chemical grenade disguised as a squeaky bone. Today, we are going to show you exactly how that list works. To understand the list, you first have to understand the scam. Pick up any cheap dog toy at a big box pet retailer. Squeeze it. That soft, flexible, brightly colored rubber is almost certainly made from polyvinyl chloride, PVC. By itself, PVC is a hard, rigid plastic. It is useless as a chew toy, so manufacturers pump it full of chemical softeners called phthalates, specifically DEHP and DINP, to make it squishy and appealing. In a Danish laboratory study, researchers found that phthalates made up between 10 and 54% of the total content of the dog toys they tested. Not a trace amount, not parts per million. Up to half the toy, by weight, was pure chemical softener. But the phthalates are just the surface layer. The real engineering problem is that phthalates break down over time, especially when exposed to heat, sunlight, and saliva. To slow that breakdown, manufacturers add a stabilizing chemical, bisphenol A, known as BPA. So now your dog's chew toy contains two endocrine disrupting compounds working in tandem. The phthalates mimic estrogen. The BPA disrupts the gut microbiome and has been linked to metabolic changes in dogs in peer-reviewed research published through the University of Missouri. And here is the part that should make you furious. Researchers at Texas Tech University ran a controlled experiment. They submerged dog toys and training bumpers in synthetic canine saliva, a liquid designed to replicate what is actually happening inside your dog's mouth. Within minutes, measurable concentrations of DEHP and BPA leached out of the plastic and into the saliva. When they simulated chewing, the kind of repetitive gnawing your dog does every single day, the concentrations of phthalates increased dramatically. The leachates showed anti-androgenic and estrogenic activity. In plain language, the chemicals leaking out of your dog's toy are actively interfering with your dog's hormonal system every time he chews. BPA and DEHP have been banned from baby bottles and certain children's products in the United States. They have not been banned from pet toys. Your dog is chewing on chemicals that are considered too dangerous for a human infant to touch. But it gets worse. In 2009, the Ecology Center, a Michigan-based nonprofit that tests consumer products for hazardous chemicals, ran one of the largest independent studies of pet products ever conducted. They tested over 400 pet toys, beds, collars, and leashes using an X-ray fluorescence analyzer. The results were devastating. 45% of all pet products tested contained detectable levels of at least one hazardous chemical, including lead, arsenic, bromine, and chromium. One dog ball had 2,696 parts per million of lead and 262 parts per million of arsenic, just in the painted lettering on the outside of the ball. For reference, the federal limit for lead in children's toys is 100 parts per million. That single dog ball had 27 times the legal limit for a child's toy. But because it was marketed for a dog, there is no legal limit at all. And the research director of the Ecology Center said something that should permanently change how you shop for pet products. He said, quote, "Pets are like children in terms of chemical exposure, but pet products are far more likely to have hazardous chemicals than children's toys. Now, this is not some fringe conspiracy theory. This is published, peer-reviewed science and publicly available laboratory data. The Consumer Product Safety Commission has stated openly that it does not have the resources or the mandate to regulate pet products. The FDA covers pet food. Everything else, toys, beds, collars, harnesses, crates, exists in a complete regulatory void. There is no federal body testing what goes into the thing your dog chews on for hours every single day. You are the only quality control checkpoint that exists. So here is the toxin list. These are the specific chemicals and compounds that have been found in mass market pet toys and that no informed dog owner should tolerate in any product their dog puts in its mouth. Number 1, phthalates. Specifically DEHP and DINP, chemical softeners used to make rigid PVC flexible. They are estrogen mimickers. They leach directly into saliva during chewing. Banned in children's toys in the EU, not banned in pet toys anywhere. Number 2, bisphenol A, BPA, a stabilizer added to prevent phthalate breakdown. It is an endocrine disruptor linked to gut microbiome changes and metabolic disruption in dogs. Banned in baby bottles in the US, legal in every dog toy on the shelf. Number 3, lead, a heavy metal found in painted surfaces, imported rubber, and low-grade plastics. There is no safe level of lead exposure for dogs or humans. The Ecology Center found pet toys with lead concentrations 27 times higher than the legal limit for children's products. Number 4, chromium, used in pigments and dyes. At trace levels, it is an essential mineral. But at the concentrations found in cheap pet toys, it becomes a liver and kidney toxin and a known carcinogen in humans. Number 5, formaldehyde, a preservative and hardening agent commonly found in rawhide chews and some molded rubber toys. It is a known carcinogen. Your dog is absorbing it through his gums every time he chews. Number 6, bromine, a flame retardant compound found in foam-filled toys and pet beds, linked to thyroid disruption, stomach upset, and pancreatitis in dogs. That is the toxin list. Print it, screenshot it, memorize it. If any of these 6 compounds are present in your dog's toy, or if the manufacturer refuses to confirm their absence, the toy does not belong in your home. Now, you are probably thinking, how do I actually check this in a store without a chemistry degree? That is where the 5 red flags come in. This is the field test smart dog owners run in under 10 seconds before any toy goes in the cart. Red flag number 1, the smell test. Pick up the toy and smell it. If it has that strong chemical vinyl odor, you are smelling phthalates off-gassing from the plastic. The stronger the smell, the higher the phthalate content. If it smells like a new shower curtain, put it back on the shelf. Red flag number 2, the origin label. Flip the packaging over and look for the country of manufacture. Imported toys, particularly from facilities with minimal chemical safety oversight, have consistently tested higher for lead, chromium, and other heavy metals. Consumer Affairs found elevated levels of lead and cadmium in Chinese-made pet toys sold at major US retailers. Products manufactured domestically under FDA food contact standards are measurably safer because US factories producing food-grade materials have to meet thresholds that simply do not apply to overseas pet toy production. Red flag number 3, the material declaration. Look for specific callouts on the packaging: BPA-free, phthalate-free, latex-free, FDA compliant. If the packaging does not declare what the toy is made from, that is not an oversight. That is a deliberate omission. Contact the manufacturer. If they cannot or will not tell you what chemicals are in the product your dog is putting in his mouth, that tells you everything you need to know. Red flag number 4, the material type itself. PVC, vinyl, and low-grade rubber are the highest risk categories. You want toys made from natural rubber, thermoplastic elastomer, known as TPE, food-grade silicone, organic cotton, or hemp. These materials do not require chemical softeners to be flexible. They do not leach endocrine disruptors into your dog's saliva. That is not marketing. That is chemistry. Red flag number 5, the single hole trap. This one has nothing to do with chemicals, but it has killed dogs. Any ball or toy with a single air hole can create a vacuum seal on your dog's tongue. The suction pulls the tongue into the hole, cuts off blood flow, and causes tissue necrosis. Dogs have lost tongues. Dogs have died. If you find a toy with a single hole, either drill additional ventilation holes or throw it away. Now, here is exactly what to buy instead. The analog legends of the dog toy world. The brands that voluntarily test their products against children's toy safety standards, even though no law requires them to. Look for toys made from thermoplastic elastomer by manufacturers who disclose their full material safety data, produce domestically, and certify their products as free from BPA, phthalates, latex, lead, cadmium, and chromium. These companies exist. Their toys are made in the United States from materials that meet FDA food contact standards. That means the plastic is safe enough to package human food, and it is going into a dog toy instead of a dollar store chew bone full of heavy metals. For heavy chewers, look for engineered natural rubber toys designed specifically for destructive breeds. Companies that build safety indicators into the toy. A colored inner layer that tells you when the chew has been compromised and needs replacing, are solving the problem that the government refuses to address. For enrichment and puzzle toys, look for food-grade silicone or TPE products that are dishwasher safe. If a toy cannot survive a dishwasher cycle, it is not built from heat-stable material. And heat instability is exactly what causes chemical leaching in cheap plastics. For rope and tug toys, choose organic cotton or hemp, not polyester, not nylon blends with synthetic dyes. Cotton and hemp fibers are naturally antibacterial, biodegradable, and, most importantly, they do not contain the flame retardants, heavy metals, or plasticizers hiding inside synthetic alternatives. Here is the bottom line. When you buy a $3 chew toy from the clearance bin at a pet superstore, you are not saving money. You are gambling with your dog's endocrine system, liver function, and long-term health to save the cost of a cup of coffee. The pet toy industry generated over $150 billion in the United States last year. They have the budget to test their products. They have the technology to make them safe. They choose not to, because there is no law forcing them to, and because most consumers never check. But now you know. You have the toxin list. You know the 6 chemicals. You know the 5 red flags. You know which materials are safe and which ones are chemical delivery systems. And you know that the federal government has openly admitted it is not protecting your dog. The toy aisle is not the only place the pet industry is cutting corners with your dog's health. The exact same chemical shortcuts, the same cost-driven, zero oversight manufacturing logic, are hiding inside the bag of kibble sitting in your kitchen right now. In our next investigation, we are pulling apart the ingredient panels of the 5 best-selling dog foods in America and showing you exactly what the labels are designed to hide.